Okay, let's draw a picture because there's a lot of different things going on. The interstate on-ramp is 6.5 kilometers west of your home. So here's your home. It's 6.5 kilometers west. And then you're only able to go an average of 30 kilometers per hour. Okay, we'll use that in a second. You wait in traffic for 2 minutes at the on-ramp before continuing to your friend's house. Friend's house is 15 kilometers south of the on-ramp. Okay, so this is 15 kilometers. If you want to have traveled an average velocity of 40 kilometers per hour, how fast do you need to drive south in the interstate? So we want 40 kilometers for 1 hour for our final units. Okay, and it looks like the total travel is 6.5 plus 15, so that's 21.5, right? It's 21.5 kilometers. So I'm going to put that in the top part. I'm making an equation. I'm equating all the units I have. We need to make that ratio equal 40 kilometers for 1 hour. Okay, so we got 21.5 kilometers, and then it says you're only able to go an average of 30 kilometers per hour between your home and the on-ramp. So in this distance, the total time that we spend driving is, we got 30 kilometers per hour, or in other words, 1 hour for 30 kilometers. And I'm doing it this way because I know I'm going to have to cancel out my kilometers unit. I'm trying to make kilometers in the numerator and time in the denominator. So instead of saying 30 kilometers per hour, I put hours up top. I said 1 hour for 30 kilometers, and I'm going to multiply this by that distance of 6.5 kilometers. We're driving 30 kilometers per hour for 6.5 kilometers. Sorry about the handwriting. But this cross cancels with this, and now we have hours in the denominator like we wanted. And I'm running out of room. Okay, so that's the time we spend here. Plus, we spend another 2 minutes at the on-ramp. So I've got to add the equivalent 0.03 hours. That's also part of the time that we've traveled. And then your friend's house is 15 kilometers south of the on-ramp. And you want to have travel an average of velocity. So the real question is, how fast are we going south here in order to average out the entire trip for 40 kilometers per hour? So the last part in this denominator over here, it's 40 kilometers for 1 hour. In other words, 1 hour for 40 kilometers. And then that's for 15 kilometers. Makes the kilometers units cross cancel. And so now we have time in the bottom. Oh, sorry. No, I have that wrong. We wanted to average here. This is an X amount of hours that we have down here. X amount of, it's a different speed that we don't know yet. We want to average the whole trip for 40 kilometers per hour. So the last part should be 1 hour for X kilometers. We don't know how many kilometers we need to travel per hour yet. So that's something we got to solve for. Okay. Let's see. So as algebra is not something this course is big on, it. This method of doing the problem just has one little algebra trick that's going to make it a bit difficult, but we'll be able to get through it. The old method I did in the other video might have been better. I wasn't sure which one would work best for people. But okay, we got kilometers up top, hours on bottom. So down here, 1 hour over 30 kilometers times 6.5. In other words, it's 6.5 divided by 30. So we'll keep some decimals here. And then 0.03 repeating. And then over here, this is 15 divided by x. Gotta solve for x at some point. Here's the first algebra trick I'm going to do that makes things a little easier. If you have two fractions that are equally each other, it's the same thing to flip the fractions. Here, while I'm at it, I'm going to add these. So that's 0.25 up top, 15 over x, and then I'm going to put the 21.5 on bottom. It's an equation, so it should still equal one another. We got 1 over 40 now on the other side. Flip both fractions. That way my x isn't in the bottom. And then to get x by itself, we need to get rid of that divide 21.5. So we want to multiply both sides by 21.5. So 1 over 40 times 21.5. That's 21.5 divided by 40, or you could convert this to a decimal too. That's a division symbol. And still trying to get x by itself, so let's subtract that 0.25 from both sides. That's 0.2875. And then that's 15 divided by x. We can't get x by itself if it's in the denominator. So instead we can multiply x to both sides. And then to get x by itself, you want to divide 0.2875 from both sides. So we got 52.17, which sounds about right. We got to go 52.17 kilometers per hour in this last part, so that the whole trip averages out to 40 kilometers per hour.